Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlan, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Chris Vermeulen from the TechnicalTraders.com. Welcome back to the show, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me again, Jim.
Chris, are small caps still ruling the growth in the markets?
Yeah, they sure are. I mean, they're just on this relentless move to the upside, a lot like what the technology sector was doing, mid-2020. It was just on fire. It got all the attention because of COVID and everyone's stuck at home and technology companies cleaning up. Well, now it's kind of the opposite. The tech sector's gone fairly dormant, the major tech sector, and these small cap stocks, which really cover all kinds of different areas of the market, are just on fire. They constantly are making new multi-year highs and all-time highs. So it's really exciting to see money moving into the sector, into small caps in general, because that's a sign that big money is investing in small companies, expecting a really good long-term forecast for the market. So wherever the big money is going is definitely where you want to be, following. You want to ride their coattails, and small caps are definitely that place.
And as you said, the tech sector seemed to be very quiet, but you did a little deeper digging and found out that some areas are still very hot.
Yeah, it's interesting. When you look at the tech sector ETF, which is kind of the major one, XLK, it's been really not very favorable. It's really only 1% or so higher than it was from the September highs months and months ago. So the overall tech sector hasn't gone anywhere. But if you break that tech sector up and look for the best assets within the tech sector, there's some really amazing plays. You look at some of the ETFs like Hail, which is a smart mobility, it's electric vehicle ETF. It just keeps going up, hitting all-time highs. You look at another ETF like ARKK, for innovation ETF. It's a bunch of small companies that are innovating and creating some incredible new technology, incredible products. There's the next generation ETF, which is the ARKW, of course, pushing up to all-time highs as well. There's just all kinds of really interesting technology pockets that are doing very well. But when somebody is to just look at the overall stock market and break it down by the 11 top sectors, you look at technology, you're like, yeah, it's not that interesting. But when you dive in and you look for that best asset within that sector, the best industry, there's some huge money to be made, and that's what I like to zero in and focus on.
Autonomous vehicles, we haven't heard a lot about them lately, but I guess people are still working on them.
Yeah, if you look at all the autonomous vehicle ETFs, there's quite a few of them now. The volume on all of them is just this huge gradual angle of volume. I mean, every week it's kind of almost like new volume highs. So the amount of people and attention that this market is getting is it's getting pretty busy. Big volume in a lot of ETFs. They're all going higher, and that's a really good sign. You want to see prices going higher with rising volume. That means it's just becoming more popular. Everyone's pushing money into it. Eventually it will be the crowded play, but at this point, all the EV stocks and the ETFs really are still showing signs that it's very strong and it could go a lot higher. We're not seeing any real signs of weakness at this point, which would typically be like a big, huge spike in price followed by a sharp drop. When you get that kind of volatility, that's when you need to start to be aware that maybe it's a crowded trade. But at this point, the volume continues to pile in, and it's definitely a hot pocket. It's the top 3 sector right now in the market that I follow, and it looks like they're going to be pushing up to all-time highs again this week.
Is Tesla still getting a lot of attention?
Yeah, I mean, Tesla, obviously, it's kind of like the Bitcoin of cryptocurrencies, a lot of price action follows Tesla. There's so many new ETFs coming on with the EV market. They're actually buying up a ton of Tesla shares to get into their holdings. So it's got this huge feeding frenzy. Obviously, Tesla moving into the SP 500 not too long ago was a huge, I think, turning point. I think is a very good thing for it. It got a lot more exposure, and since then, we've just seen the price continue to rise in Tesla. It's got a very strong pattern. Tesla looks like it's primed and ready for another $100 or $200 rally, actually, from where it is as of today. So really strong pattern. If it breaks out, the EV ETFs are going to continue to go higher.
We'll have more with Chris Vermeulen right after this.
Grand Portage Resources' Herbert Gold Project in southeast Alaska highlights increased gold resource, indicated and inferred, of 860,000 ounces, in excess of 10 grams per ton gold. Expansion drilling is planned on the Herbert Gold property for the summer of 2019. Grand Portage Resources trading symbols are GPG on the TSX Venture, GPTRF on the OTCQB, and GPB on Frankfurt. For more information, please visit our website, grandportage.com.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Chris Vermeulen. Chris, what kind of action are we seeing in the U.S. dollar?
Yeah, the U.S. dollar's had a pretty good bounce over the last couple of weeks. It was oversold, but this recent bounce has definitely put pressure on metals and a few other currencies. Overall, I still think the dollar is going to continue to hold up. There is potential that it could rise all the way to roughly the $94 mark. Right now it's trading around 90.5. So there's quite a bit of upside potential if this dollar move here has some legs behind it. But at this point, the dollar is still in a long-term downtrend. I think it's going to continue to devalue long-term. But again, it's oversold, and I think over the next 2 to 3, maybe even 4 months, the dollar may just trade sideways and slightly higher. So I think that's going to mute a lot of moves in potential other currencies or precious metals. But overall, I'm still bearish on the dollar long term.
What's your take on gold and silver right now?
Well, they were doing pretty well a couple of weeks ago. They were on the verge of starting some new uptrends, but they very quickly reversed and had a pretty significant drop. And so right now they're struggling. Right now they're from a technical standpoint, they're neutral. I don't want to own them. I don't want to short them. I don't want to buy them here. It's in no man's land, whether it's gold, silver, or miners. I think there's actually some more downside in all of them short term over the next potentially couple of months. A lot of that's going to play into the chart patterns that they have, and also because I think the dollar is going to continue to trade sideways or higher. So I'm not too excited about metals right now. They're actually a couple of the worst performing assets that I'm following. They've gone from the top of the list to the bottom of the list, and I usually stay away from ones that are some of the worst performing sectors. So I wouldn't get too excited about it. I think there's a lot of work to be done. I don't mind buying them at a higher price, but price needs to confirm that it's in a new uptrend, and that's what I'll be waiting for before I get involved in any of those.
Platinum and palladium had been hot. Are they still?
Yeah, well, platinum is it's breaking out into a new bull market. When you look at the monthly chart, it is testing this multi-year breakout level, and this is a good sign. January is the first month that platinum has started this new bull market. So I think it's got some pretty good upside potential, but I do feel as though it's going to trade sideways and slightly lower again, along with the overall gold and silver market, as this dollar here tries to put in a bounce. But I do like it. It's in a fresh new bull market. And as soon as the dollar starts to ease, I think we're going to see platinum take off, and I think it's going to be a pretty good runner, simply because it's just started a new bull market. And typically we see 3 to 5 month long rally in price when we break out. And so it's just breaking out this month, and I think it's got some good upside.
We'll have more with Chris Vermeulen right after this.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Chris Vermeulen. Chris, what's happening with crude?
Crude oil is continued to just work itself higher. It has been in a really strong bull market and uptrend really since it started to break out to a new high in November. So once it broke out in November near the end, it's in this strong pattern, and I think you and I talked about it a while ago. I've got an upside target of around $64 a barrel. If this pattern continues to play out, it's going to go quite a bit higher. Right now it's at $53 almost, so it's almost got another $10 to go, and we're really seeing a lot of money pile back into crude. I think everyone's looking beyond COVID, and they're expecting travel, transportation to pick up, sales of physical products to pick up more, and that's where money seems to be piling in here. Now, the energy sector stocks have been on fire. They've been putting in what looks to be a huge bottoming formation, and they're performing very well. They're almost some of the best assets to get into. They're a little overextended. I think we're going to see crude, we're going to see the energy sector maybe take a little bit of a pause here, but overall they're both in a strong uptrend, and you really want to be long energy because people are investing into this new, what they think is a new economic cycle to the upside, a new bull market, and they're betting on growth, and the energy stocks will definitely, they're already benefiting from that thought of us moving forward into this new kind of bull market, and it's going to continue to rise as more and more people pile on to the energy sector. It's still very young in terms of where its pattern is, and I think it's going to continue to run another 15 or 20% crude oil very easily here in the near future.
Do you pay much attention to Bitcoin and the other cryptos?
I follow Bitcoin, and I don't follow the other cryptos too much. Bitcoin's definitely trading in a high volatility range here, between more or less almost 43,000 and down to about 31,000. That range that it's had over the last couple of weeks, the high to that low. We'll have to see which way price breaks out of there. This is a sign of a huge consolidation, a continuation pattern that could go much, much higher. We'd be, up into the $60,000 mark if it breaks to the upside. If this happens to be a topping phase, which is also what this pattern can play out to be, we could see a very big collapse back down to the low 20,000 mark going forward. So it's a really high volatility play. To me, it's had a huge move. It's a big move. The fact that it's swinging 20% a day, that's not the type of play that I like to get involved in. Obviously, you'd have to put a small amount of capital in because I'm just not willing to get into anything that's just jumping around and gapping 20%, 10% on a daily basis. But it's still in a raging bull market. This big bubble it's in, this big bull market it's in, could continue to go a lot higher. It could go 60, could go 100,000. Just know that in a heartbeat, it could also be back down at or in the low 20,000 mark. So it's a lottery ticket going forward here.
Chris, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Hey, well, thanks for having me on the show, Jim. Always a pleasure.
My guest has been Chris Vermeulen from thetechnicaltraders.com. If you have any questions for Chris or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@howstreet.com. Find us on Twitter @HowStreet. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.